Hey guys, it's Jaylon. Welcome back. I am here today to share with you an update for my Palette Love series. This is a project I actually skipped in the month of July because I was traveling and I didn't have really good progress on the palettes that I had pulled in June. So I was like, there's no point. I still need to work on some of these palettes. So I decided to wait and do this update in August. So for this project, I will randomly pull in 5 palettes to just play around with. The goal is to use them, originally I said twice, but now I'm kind of like once or twice because I have so much of a focus on my Pan That palette this year that I don't want to take too much away from that. But just to play around with the palette, give these palettes some love because honestly, a lot of them are just sitting here. Now, I was actually considering not filming this today because I am planning to do a fairly significant palette declutter. I am going to film it. I just haven't gotten around to doing it. And I was like, well, why should I pick 5 new palettes when I may end up decluttering some? But I'm going to go ahead and pull some palettes out because I feel like it'll help me decide if I want to declutter them. So that's the plan. Let me share with you the palettes that I was working on and my thoughts on them. So the first one I have is by BH Cosmetics. It's the Sweet Shop Cherry on Top palette. I loved this. This looks very red, but on the eyes it looked very pink, which I prefer. It was beautiful. I ended up using, I think, all the mattes except for this one. And then the shimmers, I honestly don't remember, but I think I used this pink and this pink. This was really pretty. I really loved it. So yeah, it ends up looking a lot more pink on the eyes. Anyway, not going anywhere. I thoroughly enjoyed that one. All right, next up is by Beauty Bay. It's the Midnight 42 color palette. This is gorgeous. I mean, it is beautiful. It's like blues and purples. I think one day I did a purple look and the other day I did a blue look, or maybe I did 2 purples. I can't remember now. I love this. You can see I already have pan on this from my Pan in Every palette. It's so pretty. Highly recommend this palette if you are a purple and or blue fan. They also have a smaller version of this. I think it's a 24 pan palette. So those are just some of the purples. I don't know. I really enjoyed using this. So again, this one is not going anywhere. Next up is by Dose of Colors. This is the Desi and Katie Friendcation palette. This one was really close to being on the chopping block. Really close. And the reason why is because I had it in this project for 2 months and I was not like tempted to reach for it at all. And then I used the mattes, like these 2 mattes here and this brown matte for a look. I was like, let me just pull this palette out. And the mattes are really, really nice. Really nice. I also used, I know I used this shimmer. I think I may have used this shimmer as well. I was very impressed. So it's not going anywhere. Those are the 2 shimmers there. Really pretty. Now, will I ever, like if I end up using these mattes and finishing them and I still have some of these like darker shimmers around, will I keep it around? No, probably not. I'm just going to swatch these. Yeah, because that last one's a black and I'm just not, I'm not all about using black. Anyway, all that to say, I'm going to keep it for now and we'll see what happens. I may change my mind during my palette declutter, but for right now, it's staying. Next, I have by Viseart their Dark Matte palette. I love Viseart shadows. And I dipped into this a couple of times just for some of these darker matte shades, obviously. I want to say I used this purple and like some of the, like this brown shade down here. And I was thinking about using this. I thought it was a black, but it's more of a dark navy. It looks black, but when I swatched it, yeah, you can see more like a blue-green. Because I needed a powder for my hair because I have grays showing like crazy. And I was like, oh, maybe this color would work, but it's more of a blue-based black. But anyway, I mean, their shadows are really nice. I need to remember to pull these out, though, because their mattes are so good, and I, like, forget about them. This could be a good mixer palette, too, for Franken shades. Anyway, I'll think about it. And then lastly, from ColourPop, I have the Element of Surprise palette. This one is nice as well. This one, again, could be on the chopping block, only because I have so many palettes that look like this. And I mean, I enjoyed it when I used it. I did. The mattes were really nice, but I'm trying to decide if I need it. So again, I think I'll make more of a decision when I start working through my palettes and kind of seeing what I have and what I don't have, etc. So anyway, those are the 5 palettes I was working on. So now I'm going to pick the next 5 palettes that I'm going to pull in for this project. I have updated my wheel, because I use Wheel of Names. I have updated it through my July haul. So let's see what comes up. Okay, this is perfect. Revolution Jewel Collection in the Opulent shade. That's one I've been looking at, like, do I need this? Do I need this? Number 2, ColourPop So Jaded palette. Another one that's good to play around with to see if I want to keep it. Number 3, oh, a third one. That's a good one. Laura Geller Cinnamon and Spice palette. Okay. Number 4, ColourPop Give It To Me Straight. That's not the one. No, it's not the one I just... All right, that's number 4. And then number 5 is Huda Beauty Amethyst Obsessions. All right, let me grab these palettes. I'll be right back. All right, here we go. The first one is by Makeup Revolution. It's the Jewel Collection in the Opulent colorway. And here is what this one looks like. This is very pretty, like very romantic palette, and typically the color story that I really love. So I'm thinking I'm going to enjoy this one. I have one other one that is more of a neutral to warm color story that may end up being more so on the chopping block. I mean, obviously, if this formula is crapola, then I won't keep it. So far, it seems okay. I mean, some of the shimmers are, like this one here is kind of suspect, but some of these others are really pretty. So that's just a, you know, collection of swatches from the palette. It's pretty. It's definitely a color story that I lean towards. All right, next up is the ColourPop and Kathleen Lights So Jaded palette. Okay. I don't know. I just don't know about this one. All right, here are just some swatches from the palette. Like, there are just so many shades in here that I don't see myself ever reaching for consistently. Like this one, this yellow, the black, of course. And these 2 glitters in here. No, I'm not going to use those. I'm like this shade. That one just seems kind of like a puke color. And maybe whenever I get it on my eyes, it won't be that, you know, it won't look so pukey. But anyway, the only thing, I wish this palette, you could take the shades out, and there may be some things that I would probably keep in here, but I do have to use it to make that final determination. If like some of these shades are special enough to keep, like these 2 are really pretty. I just don't know how well they perform. Anyway, we will see. Next up is by Laura Geller. It's the Cinnamon and Spice palette. I got this in a subscription box. I want to say it was BoxyCharm. And I was like, I don't know about this. It just seems so basic. And I mean, I do like Laura Geller. I don't know that I've had too many eyeshadows from her. And it's a more of a warm toned palette, but let me just swatch some of these things. because maybe there's some shades in here that I would, like maybe when I use it, I will really like it. There's also like no contrast shade in here. Everything's very light. See, those are some of the swatches and they're kind of lame. So anyway, this has been a palette where I'm like, I just need to try it and then I can make the decision if I want to declutter it or not. So it's perfect to roll into this project. Next up is the ColourPop Give It To Me Straight palette. And I actually haven't looked at this one in a long time. I forgot what it looks like. Okay, another pretty neutral palette. It does lean a little bit on the rosy side, which, you know, is a preference for me, versus warm toned. I mean, there's definitely warm toned shades in here. I'm thinking the shadows do come out of here, and they do. Yep, okay. I lied. I was noticing that in this Give It To Me Straight palette because I know you can take these shades out of here, but I didn't see any like holes in the back. Anyway, okay. Let me just swatch a couple of these shades. Yeah, that one, there are some warmer shades in here, but nothing that I'm like, I hate that, you know? Except for maybe, I mean, not that I hate it, but this is a little bit more warm than I usually like. But everything else in here is leaning a little bit on the rosy side, and I like that. Okay, and the last palette I have is by Huda Beauty. It's the Amethyst Obsessions palette. This is a little mini palette, has 9 shades. I have Hit Pan in this one, as you can see. This is so pretty. I can tell you this is not going to go anywhere. All right, and I went ahead and swatched all 9 shades. Totally my kind of palette. So I can tell you that's not going to go anywhere, and I'm going to enjoy using that one quite a bit. All right, so those are the 5 palettes that I'm pulling into the project for this month. I will try to use them at least once, if not twice, and we'll see what I think after I use them. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you're doing well and staying safe. Please hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.